Greetings, Captains, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Plus Mod. I am Fleet Admiral Dirac of the carrier USS Vega, along with our single destroyer, the Paris. There was never any other escort. Don't you dare speak about that. So, we are currently working down on the last of the Romulan Star Empire. They have 3 planets remaining. We have been sieging them to tiny little pieces, or at least working to do so. The most current target of our sites is obviously the planet of 2113. This is southern and further away from the home planet of Romulus and Remus over here. So we've been trying to work this down just to make them even more isolated. So without further ado, let's engage in a shipyard assault that honestly nobody really wants to go on. Let's be perfectly fair. Shipyard assaults are not interesting. Well, to a certain extent, but not really. We've got 2 heavy cruisers coming on over here. According to the fleet screen, they are FHA and FHL? No, FHA and FHP. So you're a pseudo-frigate tender. Not good. A bit dangerous for us to have to worry about. We'll prep our shuttles right away, get ourselves up to speed, since our acceleration is pretty terrible. But then again, we're a carrier. We're not supposed to get in close and nimble. It looks like we are being escorted by the Gorn today, and they have brought the GCS Dracora and the GCS Eradicator. And the Dracora, if I'm not mistaken, is most certainly an X-type ship, and look at all them plasmas. Yeah, it's only 4, which is actually not amazing. Are you actually the X-type ship? Yeah, you're an advanced plasma destroyer. Oh wait, no, you've got 5 hard points. There's 2 Gs here, 1 G here, 1 G here, and 2 Fs. Every so often my eyesight apparently goes absolutely terrible. Let's come over here to meet up with Dracora, use him for defense, for protection, and for us not getting ourselves blown to tiny little pieces. I'd much rather have the Romulans shoot at them instead of us. You are an FHL. I don't know if that means you have plasma. I don't think it does. But then again, I have been wrong on Romulan Q ships before, so we will not bother with it. We have a whole bunch of power that we now need to spend. We're going to go 4 and 2, just see what we can pull off with them. We'll probably end up going 6 ECCM, just so because the enemy is going to try and stop us from doing that. And let's also make sure that we remember to get our forward shields to a maximum reinforcement value, even though we're not actually facing them with the forward shields. We're also going to come over here, prep another set of Wild Weasels and Scatterpacks just in case. Looks like the Eradicator is also a pseudo-frigate tender, so something to keep track of. And oh no! The FHPX is a Mauler, not a pseudo-frigate tender. That is fascinating. Let's get involved with that one. Mainly because Maulers can be annihilated relatively quickly. You've got 2 F-type plasma torpedoes, which is not terrible. And yeah, we're looking at no point defenses at all. So focus on this Mauler and let's go kill him. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. There we go. And that's a lot of weapons firing down on the Fides. A whole bunch more weapons firing on the Fede Avis, and both of the heavy cruisers are stopped. In fact, the Fede Avis actually did not manage to keep his shields up. Oh, look at the fighters just ripping into them. We are relatively close, but I think I can get around. Oh, good, he didn't even shoot at me. If he had fired at me, I would have figured that would make perfect sense, especially considering I'm coming up on this weakened side. But he didn't. He decided to instead fire at the Eradicator, hoping probably to try and kill off these pseudo-frigates before they became a major issue. A bit of a mistake, if I may say so, and I do. What happened to you? I didn't send anybody your way. Oh, let's call the fighters back home. They need a couple of repairs and some rearmaments. We actually don't have to do much in this mission. The Dracorum. Are you the Dracorum? You are the Dris something. Just the Dracora, not Dracorum. I'm thinking bed knobs and broomsticks. So let's keep going in. Oh, these pseudo-frigates ought to be able to do quite well. They are Klingon shipyards, which if the Klingons had focused their missiles on those, they would have been able to do something. But instead of focusing their missiles on the fighters, they focused them on ships, and that's not going to get through any kind of point defense system. We are unfortunately going to have to sit through a very long barrage, because if we increase speed while they're firing missiles, for some reason, in the way that the game handles these sorts of things, well, suddenly our weapons become, the missiles can get through our point defense shields without any trouble whatsoever. So we're just going to mosey on in. And to just tell you how close we've managed to actually come to me recording and you guys seeing episodes, someone has brought up an absolutely brilliant point. And I tried to come up with a reason why it was wrong, and I had to admit utter and total defeat. Because there is a tactic that was suggested to me by... Oh, let's see if I can remember the name. I can remember this name. I believe in myself. Sunspot. Yes, Sunspot 42. I did not totally just look that up on my phone while I was pretending to remember. Sunspot brought up the idea of, why don't you bring a whole bunch of drone cruisers? So you'll have your 2 drone cruiser escorts, and they'll have 7 missiles on board, maybe more if you can get a MIRV drone cruiser. And then you just have them fly around with you, and whenever you run into a target, you have them just spam all their missiles at the target, and then send your fighters in from behind. He reasons that missiles are free as long as they've got slow engines. So it wouldn't be all that expensive. They don't actually have to deal any damage. They're purely there just to take on however much incoming, to take on any point defense. And, you know, 2 drone cruisers firing MIRV missiles would definitely do that. And it is a really fascinating idea. And I really kind of want to try it. Probably not in this playthrough, just because we're just about at the end of it. I mean, we've got 3 tiles to take. Yeah, it's probably going to take us about 8 episodes to do it, but purely because taking out planets is not very easy, especially in the homeworld. But that's definitely something to consider going for the future, because we had half gotten there with the idea of this strategy by saying, oh, well, we're going to keep our missiles, we'll take Type 1 drones just to eat up fire. But that's the refinement that I think that really needed. So cheers on to Sunspot for thinking that one up. I really did not think of that, and now I really want to do it at some point. Not in this playthrough, but because we're at X-type ships, and X-type ships, quite frankly, are better. Having full-on heavy cruisers, much better. Except when they get themselves suicided and killed, which is never fun. So let's respond with a missile barrage of our own that we know won't get through, but we may as well say hi. His point defense system should take care of it without too much trouble, but we should have just enough firepower to cut through them forward shields. So we've managed to stun it, however we haven't managed to kill him. We're going to pull away, and actually I'm going to open him up, say you can go engage this however you feel is the best plan. I believe in you, I trust you, and I'm going to increase the speed of time because of that. Looks like something big exploded over there, probably one of the pseudo frigates. Just keep pumping fire in. That's the first dock down. On to a couple more docks. 2 more left and we'll be able to end this. Looks like he deployed a wild weasel just in time. That was probably a fake. This one's not. Got through. And he's coming out of cloak. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's Romulans. They're going to cloak. Take out that star dock and on to the last one. Hopefully our point defense system will be able to handle it. Just barely. Just barely did we manage. It's always nice to have Gorn on missions like this because they're so very good at taking these things out. Us, not so much. The Federation does not do installation destruction very well. We don't have the hard-hitting, crunchy weapons that you kind of need for that sort of thing. Come on, give me my photon torpedoes. Thank you. Alright, there we go. I should knock out most of his systems at this point. I could fire missiles on the pass-through, but I'm not sure what that'll get me. Oh, he could cloak, though. That is a good thought. If he cloaked, that would just be annoying. Also, it keeps his ability to defend himself a little bit down. Whee! Juggling. Juggling the weapon system just a little bit. Probably not the safest thing we ever came up with. Come on, Phaser, shoot that thing down. I want to shut off this tractor beam. Or, you know, you could all, like, be super lazy about it. It's gonna wait for the gallant phase to come online, isn't it? Yep, yeah, I did. Okay, Phasers, let's come in for the final killing blow here. Wasn't quite enough, but then again we didn't have all of our weapons involved. There we go. Victory is a total. So a shipyard destroyed, preventing them from getting maintenance facilities, which they desperately need to repair their ships. After all, if they can't repair the ships, they can't defend the planets, and then we could just, you know, steal them. 450 prestige is our reward for a job well done, and they are down to 34, so let's keep the pressure going. We shall not stop, we cannot stop, we will not stop, and a planetary assault is exactly what I want to do. Hopefully with Gorn assistance, because we really don't have that much firepower to attack planets. First of all, we do have assistance, but let's find out what the planet is. It is a PL4, so completely undefended, and we're fighting Specs. The probably Palma. Romai Palma seems to be a pretty common Romulan name. Let's prep our shuttles just in case, and set ourselves up to speed before we take a quick survey of who's around us. And today we're being escorted by everybody's favorite USS Paris. Paris is so beautiful this time of night. And the GCS Axe Holder, as well as the GCS Shima, the GCS Galitho, and its escort, the GCS Snarl. Sorry, I will probably always do something like that whenever I see the Snarl, because it's a hilarious name. We got a CLX, a BCS. You are not a Dreadnought, I don't think. Oh, you are a Dreadnought, wow. So he is a heavy Dreadnought, and along with his little tiny friend. Squaring off against a light cruiser, a destroyer, an X-type. You are an XDP, so an advanced plasma destroyer. So we had one of those in the last mission, and now we don't. So advanced plasma destroyers are very nasty, they're very powerful, and we want to probably avoid them a little bit. I'm going to waddle on over to this side because I feel that will give us the best chance to survive. We're going to come up here with a little bit of electronic countermeasure and also 4 points into the electronic countermeasure. I said that wrong, but you all get the idea. Let's see. Does the Specs have a pseudo-frigate complement? We will find out in about 10 more units. But he is cloaking, and I don't think he can launch shuttles while cloaked. Get back in here with me, Paris. I don't want him to first engage you. Oh wait, no, they can. So they absolutely can, and they absolutely have. Engage with missiles. We're going to come up, take position by the Dreadnought, let it do the tanking. After all, we are a carrier, we are a support vessel. It is not really our job to fly right up into the face of things and just take damage. He's already engaged with his long-range plasma torpedoes, but from this range, the Snarl could actually... Oh, now the Snarl is the center of everybody's fire. So, good on the Snarl, I guess. Yep, and his point defense system took care of our weapons completely fine. I'm not going to launch my fighters until, you know, things are better. Oh, this is going to suck, because they... Oh, no, they did not focus me. I thought they focused me. Huh. How very self-centered of me. Just keep firing everything. We're going to pass on through. It's going to be great. Did we kill them all? That's one of the difficult things, is trying to figure out if you got them all. We did. Okay, wonderful. So now we need to worry about the XDP, because the XDP actually does have a pretty significant amount of firepower to be able to kick our way. So we're going to fire this, and we're going to come in here. Photon torpedoes at the normal mode, reasonably close range. Oh, we were about to fire photon torpedoes, but then he launched a shuttle. I'm going to fire them anyway. It was point-blank range, and we were cutting through most of that, which actually worked out pretty well in our favor. We got a really nice hit going on in there, and he did dump back into cloak, but his forward shields will never be the same ever again, because we will make sure that he dies. We're going to come over here and tell the Paris that he can now break off and do whatever. I have been asked as why I do not use these screens. Generally, it's not super important. Yeah, sometimes they'll say, oh, we could capture it, but they'll blow it up. I generally don't care enough to matter. This is special orders that you can give your ships. So right now, I have given them no special orders, so they will do whatever they want. I can order them to shut off their weapons entirely. I can order them to set their weapons to normal mode. I can tell them to go maximum overload. I can tell them to use their special mode, which actually wouldn't be a terrible idea, using the Paris at long range to force him to use his plasma torpedoes. I may actually start using that. I've been lazy, and it has had a negative effect on the performance of our ship. So we should keep that in mind. And the last, of course, being use stealth, so cloaking devices and that sort of thing. We don't have super huge use for that. Even with ECM, they'll use their ECM on their own recognizance, so they don't really need to have me telling them how to do it. I just realized I don't have any forward shield reinforcement going on here, which is just a little bit weird. Not all, just the one part. I don't really care about the rest. Although, given the way that we fight normally, we should probably change that concept. And put a nice little quad of photon torpedoes out, all nailing the target quite efficiently. As we're coming in for a nice little phaser pass, let's get some missiles to precede this. Get him just a little bit annoyed. I'm not launching my fighters into him. He has enough that I would not be happy to deal with that. And forward shields held, if only a bit barely, after... Oh, we still have a photon torpedo in the tubes. That's a normal. We're not going to be able to get it off on this pass, but it's an interesting problem. We'll dump a mine right out in front of him and pull away steadily. Oh, his D-type plasma torpedo's gone. And I don't think I'll be able to get a higher energy turn. We're probably going to lose this rear shield. No, it stuck around just barely. Absolutely low. Alright, tell me what this Specs has. Yeah, the Specs does not have any point defense, so he's lost his D-type plasma torpedo, and a quick check tells me he doesn't have another one. So let's get the fighters involved and have them try and kill. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alrighty, so we've had half of our photon torpedoes about to be ready? No, all of them are about to be ready. The other one just has the graphical glitch, doesn't show me when it's actually charging. Set it to normal because we're relatively close on this one. And we'll open with a missile barrage, just to once again force him probably to stop. They're not super happy and keen about continuing along. Oh, there he goes. Photon torpedoes, range is close enough. Got some good hits on in there. Phasers, we're just going to give some long-range blinking fire. And the fighters really getting involved in there, nailing them with their mini photon torpedoes. They don't do full damage, they deal half damage, so it's basically like firing proximity photon torpedoes all the time. But there's 5 of them to a squadron, so that can add up to a lot of damage really, really quickly. And there he goes. Nice and easy. Plasma Destroyer, not necessarily too dangerous on his own. Not what he's doing against, you know, a Dreadnought and a Space Control ship, but still, would have been able to deal some damage here. Looks like the Romai Palma, we were right about the name by the way, is also eliminated. Excellent. So now we can focus on the planet. Let's see if I can't call my fighters home without them immediately starting to cause all kinds of havoc and pain. One of these got messed up. Everybody come home. You too. That includes all of you. I do not want to have to repeat myself. And another group of fighters landing in the rear bay. And come in, land in the front bay, which seems to be like that could be a bit of a traffic jam. This is an entire through deck after all. And the last group of fighters came home perfectly on time? Yes, they did. Haha. For once, the fighters have followed orders. We are ecstatic. So it looks like a pseudo frigate has gotten in range and it's just blinking away. Looks like a couple of pseudo frigates did it. Really? Yeah, the pseudo frigates just pretty much abandoned the battle after the initial PF engagement and went right for the planets. So good on you, boys. Let's increase our speed, just get ourselves up there. We're also going to need to change our electronic countermeasure to a maximum of 6 because the planet can't shoot us, but the planet is definitely going to try and stop us from shooting him. He has no shields, completely undefended, completely easy to destroy. Speaking of which, photon torpedoes, please. Set them to proximity and engage from range. And now let's use that, use special commands, because he's going to sit at long range anyway. So we may as well get him to be the most accurate that he can be. And fire basically full power photon torpedoes at a target. Gotta slow down. Oh, look at that. Just huge amounts of damage they can deal out. Damage that we just cannot replicate. We are sadly somewhat incapable of doing that kind of firepower. The Federation design philosophy just didn't work for it. And you still have tractor beams? Well, now you don't. Let's slowly get on in there. We just need to stop right outside of a range of 3. Where all safety is. Alright, all stopped. And we'll just bash away. Alright, Marines, do we need to do much more here? Nope. Send in the Marines. We've got him. The planet will officially be ours. There's nothing that they can do to stop us. Stop us? Stop us. Let's just wait and see what happens as we turn slowly away, arthritically slowly. Then again, it's a big ship. It's got a lot of weight to it, even with the empty through deck. It's not really empty, and there's all kinds of extra structural reinforce around the frame of it just so that it stays in one piece, instead of shearing in half when we accelerate. And that's why the sluggishness is there. And if you don't believe me, well, you have every right not to believe me on that one, actually. I'm just making things up as I come along here. But it makes sense to me. After all, a convertible is more sluggish because they don't have the roof for stability. Something like that, anyway. The planet is down to a 29, but this is going to take some time. We're looking at least 4 missions, could be as many as 6 to flip this thing, and then we'll take one more just to make sure that we actually grab it. So let's head on back home. We've got 3,421 prestige. I think we need something in the 4,000 range in order to pick up the XCA if one shows up, which by no means is it required. Yeah, it's 4,500 for an XEF, and the XEF is much weaker. Or at least in my opinion. We could pick up an X-Scout. X-Scouts are not terrible. They're good destroyers. They do have missile launchers, which, despite the conversation that we just had about coming up with drone ships, I would much rather have an XTD. Just because the XTD will be more reliable firepower that I don't have to micromanage quite as much. Could pick up an X-type starbase. It's not a terrible idea. We just put it up right next to the planet. That way we don't have to leave 3 sectors every time we want to do it. Show me the map. Yeah, we'll put it right there. Sure, let's do that. So, supply, or shipyard, XBS, buy, the USS Freedom. Let's see if we can't do this. I've never done this before. Literally, never, ever done this before. Starbase construction. Let's do it. So this is my first time ever, in all the years I have ever played this game, that we're going to build something. So, from Starfleet Command, San Francisco, Earth, to Commander Tarek, I think you've missed my rank just by a bit. Subject, Starbase instruction. Proceed at once to the system of 2013, where you will provide security during the final stages of construction of a new starbase. Be advised that Starfleet intelligence has reason to believe that the enemy has learned of the base and may stage an attack before it can be brought online. So, let's go on a starbase defense mission. Holy crap. So we've got all kinds of supply boxes over here, which is hanging cargo. Then we've got the base station itself. It's only an XBS, I think so, right? Yeah, it is actually an SBX, so it's not the hugest thing in the universe. But it's, you know, it'll be there as an outpost, so we can just basically hang right out by the enemy. And it will carry advanced fighters, I do believe. And then we have all of our construction ships, our large construction vessels over here. We've got a Federation Express ship, just for all that information. Message from the base. All systems are online. You can take control at any time by using the fleet control systems. Commander, sensors show multiple enemy warships inbound and closing fast. All hands, man your battle stations. This is very new for me, so I'm just a little bit giddy about it. So we haven't seen any enemy as of yet. In fact, I'm going to divert primary system power to the deep scanner. Now, aside from being required for things like scouting missions, the deep scan also gives you a 33% increase in scanning range. As you can see, he's at a range of 104, and we can see him regardless. At maximum, we can see people out to 133. Got 2 frigates at long range. The carriers will deal with this, and a freighter. Is this a freighter like the Lyrans call it a freighter? Kind of looks like that. Send a probe. Let's get advanced intel, even beyond what these scanners can handle. But right now, it's looking like 3 ships. We've got Wild Weasel ready. We also have a SKA, an SKX, and an SPH, which I'm thinking might be a pseudo-frigate carrier. I think everything is a pseudo-frigate carrier. That shouldn't be a surprise. You do have an R-type plasma door, but yeah, so this is freighter in the same way that a Lyran heavy cruiser is a freighter. So let's get the forward shield buffing to a maximum power. And also we're going to have to hope a little bit that these guys didn't bring any probes. Point defense systems. So shut that off. We don't need it anymore. The probe is ready to go, so we'll launch that. If I do confirm that there is no D-type plasma torpedo, we will launch our fighters immediately. 2 S's, so dangerous. 2 F's. All right, fighters, it's time to go. Fighters, I'm going to drop you on top of this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shuttle conversion. We can't afford to stop. He has dropped into stealth mode, so we will fire long-range missiles at these people. Now, they're within range to where they will have dropped their pseudo-frigates. He is just beyond that, so if we're going to see it, we're going to see it from him. I'm going to pull the Paris out of formation so that he can be as dangerous as possible. The Freedom can't move, so I'm not going to bother with that anyway. Freedom, engage at will, please. Do your very bestest job ever. So they've both dropped into cloak. You haven't launched fighters, but you're about to cross the 30 line. Still nothing. Okay, this might be nothing. Alright, sounds like missiles. Oh, these are not our fighters. These fighters come from the starbase, and they are equipped with missiles. I just wanted to point that out, because it's very, very fun. We're in a good position to come in on the SKA. Photon torpedo, missiles. Photon torpedoes, we have the range. Oh, we did not power the electronic countermeasure, so let's do that real quick. 4 and 2. Photon torpedoes, pull me within a range of 8. Or, no, we're just going to go in with a phaser run, because I think we got him. There we go. Phaser run finishes him. Turn off. Jump a mine right there. And photon torpedoes are not in range to do anything right now, but, you know, that's fine. Oh, they are just blitzing down. The Aponin. He's about to eat a whole bunch of phaser shots to the face, although I think he just fired his R-type plasma torpedo at the starbase. That's not good. The starbase is not super well defended. Like, it's decent, but it's not a huge Federation starbase. This is the cheaper outpost that we would want. Come on, let's see how the shields handle that. Please do a good job. Oh, the starbase is not just doing the spinny thing. Interesting. So the starbase is actually required to operate under the same rules as the rest of us. And those plasma torpedoes were fired for a fighter. More phasers, more phasers. Just pump energy into it. Don't let them cloak. Give me within a range of 3 so I can get my Gatling phasers involved. There we go. Really mauling them now. Missiles, we're too close for missiles. So we're going to have to pull through on him. He's really been badly damaged. As soon as we pull out in distance, nope, don't even need to. Last target, the Super Buyer, who is currently just surrounded by fighters. So this is apparently how you do a base station mission, which is surprisingly simple. I was expecting it to be a little bit more complicated with hailing menus, but it's not. We could come over here. Do you have... No, you're... No, we could. Wait, no, other way around. So we could go to pick these up. Unless this is like a multiple wave thing. It could be. That would actually make a certain amount of sense. I'm going to pull my fighters home. Yeah, I know he's decloaking, but this will be fine. I just want to make sure that they're in the bay when we kill him, just in case this is the end of a mission. So 3 missiles. Or not missiles, but photon torpedoes. And photon torpedoes right now. I said missiles when I wanted to fire. Never mind. It's not important. And we got a mission complete. All fighters are back home, right? Yes. Yes, please. Yes, indeed. So we didn't even lose anything for that one. And I think we've established a starbase. Let's check it out and see what we've managed to pull off. 100 prestige, astounding victory, well done. The starbase will go a long way to preserving the security of our space. And there it is! Haha! It worked! So, we have now done our first starbase mission ever, and it will serve as the staging ground for the next 3 planets, which we have to take. So that's actually going to be where we're going to end it today. So we have established a starbase properly and done that mission for the first time ever. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I post one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.